Let's start the week off with a super positive note. So this is Lolita Lempicka, and as I said, I've been testing loads of Lolita Lempickas, but more so I kind of had decided, because I've got some that I really, really like, and I had testers of things that I really liked. I just sort of thought to myself, I really should kind of go back in time to the original Lolita Lempicka. Now that has been reformulated and changed so many times, it kind of disappeared, it came back, blah, 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 blah. It's not one I ever actually owned, but it's something I really remember the smell of, because when it came out, I think it was late 90s, and I was a teenager, it was very fashionable, it was very popular, it's quite an interesting perfume, while being, I think personally, quite approachable. But like I said, I never actually owned it. I always loved the little bottle and the strange sprayer, but I never had it. So I kind of wanted to smell it again, but I figured, because I'd already seen on Direct Cosmetics that they had the Mon Premier version in a tester bottle, 100ml for £30. I was like, well, that's just a bargain. I thought I'd try that one first, because what happened was Lolita Lempicka, they basically started making their own perfumes rather than having them produced by someone else, because they wanted to go vegan, I believe. And there are just some things that they used to put in perfumes that aren't vegan, and you can't really recreate the smells. So I think people who loved the very original Lolita Lempicka eau de parfum, I don't think they've ever kind of had another version that smells quite like it. But they released Mon Premier kind of to replace it, and it's in one of the bottles, like the new sweet bottles, as you can see here. But people didn't like it. They thought it was too sweet, too cherry heavy, and now Lolita Lempicka, actually in 2021, they re-released the OG eau de parfum, or as close as they could kind of get to it, in their vegan formulation. So it's still a different formulation, still doesn't smell quite the same, but they released it in the original bottle so that you know which one that is. Because the issue with this is that it's often just called Lolita Lempicka eau de parfum, and then you sort of have to work out if it's Mon Premier. But the way to know if the bottle is Mon Premier and not the actual original eau de parfum is that I don't think you could ever get the original eau de parfum in these bottles. So I think that's how to do it. You may see that there's very little juice left in this tester, because I was obsessed. I absolutely loved it. It's got a load of claptrap on here again about romance and sensuality and all this kind of thing. But personally, I think that Mon Premier, it is very similar to the original, but it's sort of a little bit more mass pleasing, I'd say, a little bit easier to get on with, because the cherry is so high in it. So the notes in Mon Premier are top notes of cherry, star anise and ivy, middle notes of licorice, violet, orris root and amaryllis, base notes praline, vanilla, tonka bean, musk and vetiver. Now the votes on this one have the praline really high, the violet's quite high, the cherry is the top note here. And I think one of the things I loved most about this, because I did of course have to then order this big boy. So this is the tester bottle of Mon Premier. It's just got this random Zara lid on it, because it came lidless, obviously, as testers very often do. And I was so obsessed with this on Saturday when I wore it. It is heavenly, and it is very much like, to my nose, a mixture of the original Lolita Lempicka, just with an extra dose of the beautiful sweet cherry that you get in Sweet, the original Sweet. Now, the original Sweet has loads of chocolate in it. It doesn't have the kind of licorice and the anise, which is what makes this perfume so interesting. It's very sweet, it's very girly, but it's not boring, because it has those interesting additional notes. I get the star anise, I get the licorice, I get a bit of greenness from the ivy, but the praline and vanilla I think is higher than that greenness in this. But I love violet. So this is basically a aromatic, spicy, intensely sweet cherry and violet perfume. It's just beautiful. whether it's gonna, I mean, it's not necessarily gonna satisfy people who want the original Lolita Lempicka. I can understand why they would have been a bit sad about this, because it's not the same. But I could not stop spraying it on myself. It's not, I mean, it's noticeable. It's not super strong. And it doesn't last like forever, but oh my God, it's so beautiful. Such an easy wear, and I'm so happy to have it, because literally I sprayed it out, and that first spray, I think before the cherry really starts to take over, the first spray is like, I remember this smell. I remember it. I remember it in the 90s. I remember people wearing it. It's just lovely. So anyway, so that's Lolita Lempicka, and that's Mon Premiere. And if you notice, the Mon Premiere boxes, if you are interested in either the original or this one, and when I say the original, I mean the 2021 version of the original, is Lolita Lempicka on a white background with a green leaf. That's Mon Premiere. I will show you in a minute what the other one looks like, the actual 2021 Eau de Parfum that's supposed to be close to the original. And the other thing to say, sorry if you're not interested in Lolita Lempicka, but there's going to be a lot of it in this one. If you go onto the official Lolita Lempicka website, you can order totally free samples. They have 2 different batches. I mean, I sort of didn't think about the fact I could have got both sets of their samples, but I went for the one with things that I don't have in it. There was a couple of things I already had, but I wanted to smell the original, the 2021 Eau de Parfum. I wanted to smell the original Homme, Lolita Lempicka Homme. I wanted to smell their one that's for babies. So I've got a whole set. All you have to do is you pay for postage. Now, to get that from Europe, it's relatively expensive. It's like £14, but you get 5 or 6 samples. And in fact, like I said, you can easily add both sets of samples and get everything that they do in little sample cards like this. So it's totally worth going and looking at that if you want to smell these. And if you get both of the sample sets, then you can compare this and the 2021 one. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there because that will come back into things. I mean, I literally can't. I mean, I'm probably going to wear this on Monday to work because I just can't wait to wear it again. I absolutely love it. Oh, you still definitely get that slight licorice and slight anise vibe in this. It's slightly unusual. It's like violet, but it's unusual. Anyway, I love it. So that was Saturday, and I wore it all day on Saturday because I put this on in the morning just to test it, and I loved it so much. I was like, after my shower, I'm putting it back on. That's why I've used so much of this, because I absolutely love it. So absolutely adore that, and I'm so happy to have this. I'm going to wear the living daylights out of it, to be honest. Sunday. Okay, so I started in the morning. I got 2 Jimmy Choo samples. This is Illicit. It's so shiny you can't really see. This is the original Illicit. This is because I went into it wasn't Selfridges, where was it? Oh, John Lewis. When I was on kind of John Lewis-y hunts, I was just even just walking through there, I noticed these and I thought, I'm going to smell this, because I'll read you the notes. This is a tiny little teeny tiny sample. The notes here are top notes of ginger and bitter orange, middle notes of jasmine, sambac, orange blossom and rose, base notes honey, amber, caramel and vanilla, sandalwood and cashmere wood. And I smelt this. The lady sprayed this, and she also sprayed the next one you're going to see onto a card for me. And I liked them both on the card, and I thought, okay, I was wearing another perfume, so there's no point in me spraying it on because I wouldn't have got a good sense of it. So I went onto eBay, I ordered a couple of samples. I actually got a set. I got this one, I got the next one, and then I got the original Jimmy Choo, which I knew I wouldn't like. I will do a little review of it, but it's just a patchouli bomb, so I knew it wasn't going to be for me. But anyway, this one, the honey and the caramel and the ginger and the bitter orange were the things I was interested in this. And on the card, I thought it was really pretty. I still do think it's pretty, but on my skin, Jimmy Choo Illicit starts to smell like pencil shavings. It didn't really smell like pencil shavings on the card, but on my skin, pencil shavings. I think that's probably the cashmere wood, but it's so pretty. I would say this is I saw Paolo Bianca talking about this one, and she loves it. And I think if you don't get that pencil shaving vibe on your skin, or of course if you do and you just don't mind it. This is a really good, sweet, comfortable, pretty, slightly floral, safe scent pretty much for any time. I think it's comforting. You could totally wear this to work. It's super easy, like could be a signature scent. I think of all the Jimmy Choos I've smelt, this is definitely the one that I think is the nicest. I didn't get like a ridiculous amount of jasmine, but I think the florals just smell a bit like a floral bouquet. The ginger isn't too spicy, the orange isn't too bitter, the honey's not too sweet, the caramel's not burnt, you know, it's just a really nice level of pretty kind of gentle comfort perfume. But like I said, just that wood just didn't work on me, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, I think it's actually quite pretty, so I would totally happily recommend that one. So I wore that before my shower, had it on for a few hours, and then I, for the rest of the day, wore Fever. So this is one I'd been looking at for a while just because it's got coffee in it, but it isn't a patchouli perfume, you know? So it's, people compare this to Black Opium. I'm like, meh. I'm not really sure this actually smells like Black Opium that much, but I think that's probably because Black Opium has so much patchouli in it, like tons of patchouli. So I think that realistically, it's hard for something to properly smell like another perfume that's full of patchouli when it doesn't have any patchouli in it. So the notes in this one are top notes of plum, lychee, grapefruit, middle notes of heliotrope, vanilla orchid and jasmine, orange blossom. Base notes, tonka bean, vanilla, benzoin, coffee, hazelnut and sandalwood. And this is actually quite a pretty perfume. It's not one that I feel like I need. I don't really want to buy like a whole bottle. These tend to be like £30-40 for the smallest bottle. And it's nice enough. I do get the coffee. I think the more it dries down, the more you start to get like plum. So it's almost back to front. I feel like it's very sweet. You get some florals. There definitely is a fruitiness, but I think the plum almost feels like it's in the base notes, and it gets kind of nicer and sweeter and thicker and more jammy as it dries down, which is really nice. But yeah, I mean, it's just not one that I feel I need, but I do like it, and I continued to reapply it throughout the day, and I thought it was really pretty. You definitely can sense that coffee. And the hazelnut and sandalwood doesn't go weird on me. It's not like, what's that other one with hazelnut that smelled dreadful on me? Oh, one of the, was it Fabulous? I think that was like green hazelnut milk or something disgusting in like oh God, I can't even remember the name of it, but you know, the one in the lipstick bottle. But yeah, I would totally recommend this if you like a fruity coffee. It's sweet, it's pretty, I think it's really nice. I think both of those are totally worth buying. I think they're really nice perfumes, but I just don't really need them. So then, that was the weekend done. On to Monday. So I'm really glad I'm talking about this one again. I did the, because I've been wearing this and its sister, whatever it's called, Controversial. I've been wearing it, thinking about it. Obviously, I wanted to get my haul up so you guys could see it, because I knew that I'd already worn Controversial before I put the haul up, and I knew I was going to be wearing this one because it's really nice. It's cold outside. It's perfect weather for it. And I really did a bit of research online about this because it is unusual smelling. Let me just have another sniff. What I've done is I've double tied the bow around the top so that I can smell it. And also, yeah, it's like super annoying. You have to position this in a really specific position to try and get it to spray. I think it's just a bit wonky. So sometimes when you push it down, it just kind of dribbles out or it doesn't work. So you can see it's a bit sticky on top. But it's not a surprise it's sticky. It's actually incredibly sweet. I really like it. And I think I might have found out why it smells unusual. So I'm glad I'm talking about it again. This is an £11 perfume for an eau de parfum that's 100ml. And it's an incredible bargain. I'm super impressed with it. I really like this perfume. I think it's great. So the Fragrantica notes are top notes of cassis, bergamot and citrus, middle notes cinnamon, cumin, rose, iris, pink pepper, jasmine and freesia. Base notes are patchouli, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, moss and musk. And I'm like, I recognise all those notes. That, yeah, I can get a sense of the spices. There's a powderiness from the iris. I wouldn't necessarily recognise loads of these notes kind of separately. I can't really recognise too much in the way of patchouli, but it does have like a warmth. It smells like a classic kind of, I can't even say ambery perfume, but because it's more than that, but it's very sweet and it's got an unusual vibe to it. So I went and had a look, and because I was trying to find the notes for controversial as well, because there's no, that perfume doesn't smell like the very minimal notes that they've got down. There's definitely way more notes in that perfume, but I couldn't find anything about that. I did find a press release about Shush by Jade Goody. Did I even say what this is called? Shush by Jade Goody. I found a press release, and it said the following. Shush features top notes of fresh bergamot and cassis tea notes, entwined with luscious floral notes of iris, jasmine, rose and delicate freesia, twisted with a spicy spirit. Mysterious patchouli and a sultry allure of sandalwood enhance the facet of sweet intoxicating vanilla and candy floss, with a smooth fusion of amber, moss and musk. So tea and cotton candy, basically. That's the notes that were missing that I can smell, and I'm like, that's what it is. That's what it is. That is what it is. I can totally get a sense that there's tea in this, and it's no surprise that I love it so much. And it's sweet, but it's not sweet in necessarily a traditional kind of sugar, which isn't noted anyway, or vanilla. It's just very sweet. It's got a real sweet vibe in it. And candy floss, aka cotton candy for any American viewers, it totally makes sense now. Absolutely lovely. It's almost like you've got like a it's almost like a Chanel, a classic Chanel, like Coco, right? But with tea, so it's lighter, and candy floss, so it's sweeter and less mature. It's still got a slight maturity about it, but it's definitely kind of not the Chanel level, if you see what I mean. It's really interesting. I massively recommend this. I think this and Controversial are both really good. If you haven't seen my haul video, and you want a bit more information about the two perfumes from Jade Goody, then go and look, because Controversial is only it was £6 I think from Luxe Perfumes. So yeah, I mean, absolutely lovely, totally digging it. So I wore that on Monday. I wore it to work. I took a little decant with me, which was fun, because I think I had a slightly faulty decant thing as well. It's just like, oh my god, none of these things work. And then on Tuesday, I was just in the mood for it. Oxygene by Lanvin, the original one. They do have a one that's supposed to be for men as well, but that one has like a kind of ribbed I'm not sure if that's the right word, lid. It does look different to this. It's a similar bottle, but it's got like a texture to it. This has got like a pearlescent top and a beautiful blue juice. You can see I've actually used a fair bit of this, but there's a lot of bottle underneath this lid. I absolutely love this. It is a beast. This is what I wear when I want to smell clean in cold weather, because it has a spa-like scent, but it also is incredibly sweet and milky. And actually, when I was wearing it this time around, what I was thinking is it kind of has a white chocolate vibe to this, even though it's like a spa scent. It's very hard to describe. I think there's it's not violet actually, it's iris. But there's something about the mixture of the bergamot and the iris that I think gives it a very slight, soft, like violet-y smell. And the notes, I'm not sure how much. It's such a original, singular, unique perfume. This one. It has the beautiful, sweet, bar soapy Lanvin musk that you get in Modern Princess and Jeanne and quite a few of their perfumes, but it's just, there's nothing else that smells like this. It's an incredible perfume. You can get a 75ml bottle like this for like £20 in the UK. It's incredible. The notes here are top notes of Indian white pepper, bergamot, middle notes of milk, gardenia and rose, base notes of musk, iris and sandalwood. Now, it has pepper in it. I don't find this massively peppery, but I will say this. I have once bought a second-hand bottle of this and the pepper was out of control. So don't get these second-hand. Don't get old ones. Get a new one. They're not expensive. They should be this lovely blue colour. The one I got had turned slightly green, and things that are very sweet and sugary with vanilla in often change colour and they get darker. You can see the Lolita Lempicka's got darker because of that vanilla. This doesn't have vanilla in it, so if it's gone green, that's because it's not good. But I can't sing the praises highly enough. It is a beast. It lasts all day. You don't need to respray this. Everyone around you can smell it. You can smell it. It's not a skin scent, really. It's too strong for that. That's why it's so good in winter, but it's so sweet. It's just, oh God, I love it. I loved wearing that. And then on Wednesday, I don't need to talk about this. I talk about it all the time. I wear it all the time. I was thinking about Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. This is the Unspoken one. All I'm going to say about this is it is like a second skin. That's what I was thinking this week. I was like, this is a second skin to me now. It's just a comforting, beautiful smell. Quince, pink pepper, middle notes, honeysuckle, peony, wisteria, base notes, tonka bean, sandalwood, musk, and olibanum. It's honeysuckle, tonka bean, sandalwood. That's what it smells like. And then, because I was doing my haul video, I'll move this around so we've got some space. Gosh, I just love that bottle as well. It's so gorgeous. There we go. Make sure I don't knock it over because it's too precious. My precious. I was doing my haul video, and so I sprayed this one on me by invitation, Rose Gold by Michael Buble, because this was like a real cheapie that I got in that haul. I mean, I've had this in a cupboard for maybe 6 months, I think. So I sprayed it on my skin because I was like, maybe I was too hasty about this. It's actually kind of nice because it smells like red berries and praline, and it kind of does. But so the longer it stayed on my skin, the more I started getting wood coming through, and the wood that came through had a slight tar vibe. And as soon as I realised that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that'll be why I didn't like it. So the notes in this are top notes of red fruits, pear and magnolia, middle notes of rose, plum, peony, base notes, praline, vanilla and cinnamon. The praline is intensely sweet in this. It's nice, but just to warn you, it's very sweet. Very sweet, and it's got a really juicy pear in it. The red fruits are the first thing you smell. It does have a very slight vibe of cloud about it because it's so sweet and because of that pear. I don't know, it just has, it doesn't start like that, but when it dries down, I started thinking of cloud. I started thinking it's almost that level of sweetness. That's how sweet it is. But then in the deep dry down, I started to get the wood coming through, and the wood had that slight synthetic wood that smells like tar to me. And the more that happened, the more it just reminded me a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Carolina Herrera Good Girl, which might be nowadays my most hated perfume, and I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons I hate that so much is because it's got so much of that synthetic wood that I hate. So the combination of the kind of flowers, fruits and the intensely sweet vibe of this, once that tar started coming through, it started making me think of Good Girl. So this is not one I'm going to keep, definitely not. It's going to be passed on. I'll put it in a bundle. But if you don't have that problem, if you like cloud, if you like Good Girl, then this is so cheap in the UK. It's amazing, and it lasts for quite a long time. It's actually quite strong, and the bottle is so cool, and it's very, very sweet, perfect for winter. So yeah, I mean, I'd still like totally recommend it to other people. Then on Thursday, I wore this to work because I was like, it's kind of vintage, but it's not like scary vintage. And so I have feelings about this because this is one that I said I wasn't sure if I'd be able to wear. It's quite a monumental bottle, isn't it? Gonna have to really make some space. Poor Lanvin. So let's put this in a way where you can see the cool thing. So this is Gloria Vanderbilt, and this is her original just Gloria Vanderbilt perfume. It's a proper 80s perfume, but this is like a modern formulation of it, so it's not too beastly. It's not massively strong, this, especially on the skin. So I wanted to wear this. I wanted to see whether I was comfortable in it, and I thought, hell's bells, whatever, I'm just going to wear it on Thursday. And it wasn't so strong on my skin that I thought it was going to bother anyone, you know. So it turns out I really like this on my skin. I think it's really nice. I didn't like it on my clothes. I'm not sure why. It's like the dry down is the nicest bit of it, and I feel like on my clothes it kind of stayed with that aldehydic kind of pineapple sharpness. It's not a sharp perfume at all, it's super sweet, but I feel like it kept that smelling 80s, aldehydic 80s when it was on my actual clothes. But on my skin, it was absolutely delicious. And the pineapple became really gentle and sweet. The lavender came through, the tuberose came through. There's definitely lots of carnation in that. And I think that comes out right at the beginning. So the carnation calms down and then you get tuberose and lavender. And for me, I got a lot of pineapple. And then it started drying down and the vanilla really popped out, and it's a really nice gentle vanilla in this. So it got sweeter. So yeah, I mean, I think this is actually a really nice perfume. I just need to remember not to spray it on my clothes. So yeah, I mean, and again, I think that was like 100ml for £6. So that was part of a haul a while back that it's just such a bargain. So in the UK you can definitely get that for small prices. Let's do a little bit of a shuffle here because that bottle is massive. So let's slot her in there, looking super cool. Put Shush over there. Let's see. And now I've got some smaller things. Oh yeah, so in the evening, and again, like the Gloria Vanderbilt, it's an old perfume, but it didn't really last a particularly long time, if I'm honest. Like, it wasn't crazy. So in the evening, I thought, let's wear the original Lolita Lempicka, or at least the 2021 version of it, okay? So now, this is the box and the style that you get with Le Parfum, which is the 2021 version of the original OG Lolita Lempicka perfume. This is what the Mon Premiere looks like, okay? So you've got white with a green leaf, or you've got the acid green with like a kind of cloud shaped white bit. So if you're looking at boxes, because they this says Eau de Parfum, this says Le Parfum, right? This often doesn't actually say Mon Premiere anywhere on it. It doesn't say it on the bottle, it doesn't say it on the bottom, it only says it like inside boxes and stuff. It's just very silly. So this, oh god, this is going on my wish list. This is going on my please somebody buy it for me as a present list, because not only can you get it in the original bottle, as you can see, glorious, but it's so good. It's so good. I can tell this isn't exactly the same as it used to be. I can tell that. It's definitely not as strong. I mean, that's one of the things I remember about the original Lolita Lempicka, is it was just so strong. It's probably one of the reasons I never actually owned it, because I had a few strong, I had like Gucci Rush, for instance, but I really struggled to wear it because it was so strong. So the 2021 version of Lolita Lempicka Le Parfum has top notes of cherry and anise, middle notes of violet and orris root, base notes of licorice, white musk and tonka bean. The votes on this one has the licorice at the top, followed by the violet, then the cherry, then the anise. And I would say that is absolutely accurate. It's sweet, it's violety, that licorice is so delicious. The anise I really get when I first spray it, and then I think the licorice, but it doesn't smell burnt. It's not like a pink sugar type thing. It's so much better than that. I think the lack of caramel probably helps. Okay, so I've got what's left on here. I'm just going to spray it again. I wore this in the evening and I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. It's so lush. It is very similar to Mon Premiere. It's just Mon Premiere is kind of like the easy version of it, if that makes sense. I think because it's got the anise and the licorice, it makes it kind of a little bit more complex. And the Mon Premiere version is a slightly less complex. It's kind of an approachable version because there's more cherry and there's kind of less of the kind of interesting kind of spiciness. I mean, can you even call it spicy? I don't even know how to describe licorice, you know. It's got less of the sambuca about it, you know. And honestly, that's probably why I love this so much. It kind of reminds me of sambuca. It is that level of sweetness. It's syrupy. Oh, God. I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. I can't believe how much I love the Lolita Lempicka perfumes. Mon Biche, whatever it's called, Mubbish, nearly put me off ever trying anything new from Lolita Lempicka. And I was very wrong because they are so lovely. Oh my God. They're sweet and girly, but they are like fairy tale perfumes. There's something so magical about them. And I love the cherry that's in sweet, and I love that it's with chocolate, but that is a really specific and very sweet smell. So it's really nice to have that same cherry note, but in other perfumes, you know. I love it. I would love a bottle of this. I might have to ask for it as a Christmas present or, you know, something or another. I'm going to put that over there for now. Anyway, so yeah, that was Thursday, and then on Friday I was meeting my incredibly chic and lovely Italian friend for dinner, so I thought, let me wear like a chic Italian perfume. So I went for Versace Crystal Noir, and I've just got this is the EDP, very importantly. It's got so dark. I don't know why it's got so dark. Sorry about that. Been going on, it's got so dark. So Versace Crystal Noir, I have got the EDP in this little 30ml. This is, I can't remember if it's 2021 or 2022, but it's the new formulation, basically, the modern formulation of it. If you saw my declutter video, you'll see I'm decluttering the EDT because I just don't like it as much. This one I find it's kind of less piercing. I don't know why. I'll read you the notes, but who even knows what notes are in this perfume anymore, because Versace are just full of it, really. Top notes: pepper, ginger and cardamom. Middle notes: coconut, gardenia, orange blossom and peony. Base notes: sandalwood, musk and amber. Is that right? I don't know. I don't think so, because this to me now smells a little bit more like the carded sample I had of one of the old EDTs that said it had fig in it. So I mean, who even knows? I just like it. I don't know how to describe it except to say it smells like an incredibly luxurious soap. It really does. It has a coconutty vibe in it. Whether it actually has coconut in anymore, I don't know, but it has a coconut vibe. It's almost like, I found the EDT's more bit yogurty, if that makes sense, like a coconut yogurt or something. This one's more soapy. I think it's quite sweet. I think the vanilla really, really comes through in this when it dries down. And there's not even any vanilla listed here. I mean, it gets vanilla-y. It just does. It gets kind of a slightly custardy vanilla smell in it, I'd say. It's beautiful. It's chic. It's classy. It's clean. I don't know, like people say it's sexy, but I feel like it's a musky, soapy smell. And I just think that sometimes people think that's a sexy smell. I don't know. I mean, clean people are pretty sexy, right? It's nice to smell clean and lovely. So yeah, absolutely delicious. Love it. It was great. Love wearing it. I wore it all day. And then the only thing I'm going to mention is, I don't think you can get these outside of the UK, but I ordered a bunch of bath things from a company called Bubble Tea. And they had, and they're so cheap. I don't know what I was expecting, but like, they had this body mist that's called Banana Milkshake, and I thought, well, it's like £3. While I'm getting all this bubble bath for myself and my husband, I'm just going to try it and see what it's like. Interestingly, it's got a double cap on it, weirdly. So it's got two caps for no reason. It barely, I mean, it sort of smells a little bit like Banana Milkshake, but it's so lightly scented. It lasts for like 4 seconds on the skin, and I mean, it also is slightly, once you've sprayed it, it's slightly too tangy to smell like Banana Milkshake. And I would just say it was like I'm just going to use it as like a bedding spray and stuff, because there's no point in wearing it. Like, it literally lasts for 4 seconds. And to be honest, I mean, if anyone's thinking of getting stuff from Bubble Tea, their bubble baths aren't very strong smelling either. I'm trying to find something to replace Lush, because Lush has become just insanely expensive. So yeah, I don't think Bubble Tea is the answer, because a lot of their shower gels and bubble baths are so weak smelling, like you can barely smell the scent. But anyway, I did try that, so I thought I would chuck it into the mix. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's good quality, but anyway, I tried it. So yeah, that was my week. And this is such a bargain. I massively recommend it, especially if you live in the UK and you can get it for super cheap. It's amazing. I'm obsessed with Lanvin. You know how I feel about Unspoken from the Stash range, if you watch my thing. If you like cloud-like scents, I think you'd really like By Invitation Rose Gold by Michael Buble, and it's so cheap. But by far and away, these right here are the things that I've lost my mind over. Oh my God, there is something, and it is, yeah, it's because I love Sambuca. I'm one of those people who just love Sambuca. Everyone's like, I don't like Sambuca, it's gross. I love Sambuca. So yeah, there's just something so syrupy, sweet and interesting about them, even though I think they're super easy to wear, I won't lie. So yeah, so that's been a really fun week. It's so nice to have my sense of smell back to normal, you know. It's been delicious and lovely. I'll get those out of the way so I can take a little picture before I put this up. But yeah, so I hope everyone's had a lovely week. I've had a very fragrant week, and I will see you on the other side.